Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Leadership and Organizational Development Live, brought to you by TCS Consulting LLC. I would also like to welcome everyone watching the replay. Whether you're joining us live or catching our episode later, we are grateful you are with us. Please introduce yourself in the comments, let us know where you're from, and share your thoughts or your questions. We read the comments after the broadcast and we'd love to continue the conversation later. I am your host, Dr. Robin R. Hughes of R. Hughes and Associates, and I'm delighted to have you join us today as we explore innovative leadership strategies, organizational effectiveness, workplace excellence, and the science behind human performance. Joining me today is my esteemed colleague and co-host, Dr. Jacqueline Brown of Revolution Ascension. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Hey there, Dr. Hughes. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Wow, together. It's always good to be with you, Dr. Hughes. Together, we are committed to bringing meaningful conversations that empower leaders, strengthen organizations, and inspire individuals to reach their highest potential. Our approach is grounded in the principles of industrial organizational psychology and positive psychology, helping leaders understand how people think, perform, engage, and thrive within today's ever-changing workspace.
Yes, I want you to know who's in the room with you today. Together, we bring decades of experience in executive leadership, industrial organizational psychology, organizational development, human resources, consulting, coaching, and higher education. And we have quite a few other things we help with too. So our goal is to bridge research with real-world leadership experience, so you leave each episode with practical ideas you can immediately apply. At TCS Consulting LLC, we believe the great organizations are built by great leaders and leaders who recognize that sustainable success begins with people. Each week, we'll bring you practical strategies, evidence-based insights, and real-world solutions designed to help leaders and organizations thrive. Together, we'll explore how leadership, organizational psychology, and human potential intersect to create stronger cultures, higher performing teams, and more effective workplaces. Every week, we'll discuss topics actually designed to help you. We'll enhance leadership effectiveness, improve employee engagement and retention, build high-performing teams, strengthen organizational culture, increase productivity and performance, and develop resilient and emotional intelligent leaders.
Absolutely. You know, whether you are a CEO, executive, manager, entrepreneur, educator, nonprofit leader, HR professional, or an emerging leader, this show is designed with you in mind because our mission is very simple. Equip leaders and organizations with practical tools, evidence-based strategies, and transformational insights that create measurable results.
Yes, we invite you to participate throughout today's broadcast. If you're watching the replay, we'd love to hear from you as well. Leave your comments or questions, and we'll respond after the broadcast. So through the lens of industrial organizational psychology and positive psychology, we know that organizations flourish when leaders intentionally invest in their people. Culture, well-being, and performance. Can't just focus on one thing. We have to focus on all of that. And the most successful organizations are those that understand that human potential is their greatest competitive advantage.
So now that we have sort of given you some insight on what we're going to be talking about, let's dive into today's discussion and discover how the power of leadership, organizational psychology, and human potential can transform workplaces and lives.
Yes, let's talk. We've been trying to bring you, we talked about psychological safety, we've talked about POS, and we want to talk a little bit about the power of leadership relationships and why great leaders build trust, not favorites. Got to make sure, and that's very important as well. So over the past 2 weeks, we've talked about those important discussions and important questions employees ask every day. Can I speak up? Psychological safety. Do I matter? POS, or perceived organizational support. So today we want to actually explore a third question that every employee asks, whether they realize it or not. And it's, what kind of relationship do I have with my leader?
Mm.
That relationship often determines how employees feel about their work, their team, and whether they choose to stay, which also can impact what? POS. So, and then I know one of Dr. Marisa Bludorn's favorite subject is, what is leader member exchange? Another acronym, LMX. We will tell you the acronyms, but we want you to learn the acronyms, but we also want you to know what they stand for. Mm-hmm. And LMX is a leadership theory that focuses on the quality of relationships between a leader and each individual employee. No employee is left out, each one. Not every employee experiences leadership the same. This is not, I always like to use cookie cutter. You can't take something and use it on every one of your employees. It's just like anything else. Some people learn their visual. Other people learn by listening. Other people learn by using their hands. So we have to take all of that into consideration. Some employees experience the trust, the coaching, the open communication, and the growth opportunities, where others might be limited in that communication, little feedback, few developmental opportunities, and then they feel like they're overlooked. And their goal isn't really to treat everybody identically. Mm-hmm. It's to treat everyone fairly while building high quality relationships across the team. So if we're looking at driving, relationships, driving performance, if employees are engaged when they believe their leaders trust them, listen to them, support their growth, and communicate honestly. Integrity is everything. Transparency is very important. Again, we had said previously, we know you cannot share everything, but be as transparent as you possibly can. And leadership is built one relationship at a time. And relationships matter. It means everything, whether that be with your employees, business, what? Relationships are always going to matter. And you should try to develop those relationships and be relational, not transactional.
Absolutely.
Because that's how you build lasting relationships. Personally, professionally. It works both ways.
Yes, it does.
What are your thoughts on that, Jacqueline?
I love some of the things that you've brought up. A leader must always ask, is there enough safety inside of me for truth to tell truth? Now somebody says, oh, what does that mean? Is there enough safety inside of the leader for the truth within them to tell the truth? And then, asking the in questions that sometimes we don't want to ask. Can I, as a leader, confront my own patterns without collapsing? Because if these internal things have not been developed, well, you're not going to be that really, how can I say, phenomenal leader. There's good leaders, there's great leaders, and then there's phenomenal leaders. Well, a phenomenal leader is looking to say, always doing the introspective work, but looking to say, can I confront my own patterns without collapsing? Can I receive correction without becoming defensive? Sometimes leaders, before you can even get what you're saying out of your mouth, it's yeah, but, well, and there's this automatic defensiveness. But can leaders receive correction without becoming defensive? Are leaders above being corrected if there's something that they're speaking that may not be accurate?
Mhm.
Can leaders make a mistake without losing their identity? Because if you lose your identity, then the organization you're leading is going to lose their identity. Can the leader be powerful without becoming performative? Everything's performance, performance, performance. These are all really important questions that leaders have to do that work, the self-governance work first. Now, here's one. Can the leader be valuable without surrendering authority? Because sometimes there is that standing in authority, and then sometimes surrendering that I'm not the only one in the room that has the answer. So can you be valuable by surrendering to the ideas, but not surrendering your authority? You have to still stand in authority. It was given to you. And I think that this is where I think our work intersects with the psychological safety. We're not seeing psychological safety as soft leadership. We're not seeing it as part of, I'm the boss, I'm in charge. It is part of internal architecture, human governance. And that's something that I'm super big on. I teach internal architecture, human governance, emotional regulation, and leadership congruence. Robin, I'm not sure that leadership congruence is like at the top of the list anymore. So I'm gonna pass it back to you, because what people experience from the leadership is not just their title, their message, the vision, what the corporation's intention is, but we're really experiencing the architecture of who the leader is. And so I'm going to pass it back over to you. What do you think
Thank
about
you.
that one?
You said some great things. Look, and then because it starts with self-awareness. If you are not aware of what, you have to know, and you cannot be defensive. If you're sitting up already trying to explain or interject why someone is trying to tell you something, guess what? It then becomes that you're making excuses.
Right.
And one of my favorite quotes that I love is, excuses are tools of incompetence, which build monuments of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So step back. As a leader, we should not automatically, you don't become defensive. You should be able to take constructive criticism and be able to listen and put those things in action too, to help you become a phenomenal leader.
Absolutely.
Because whatever you're giving to your employees, that's what you're going to get back. You have to remember, they're looking at you. If you don't value them, they're not going to value you. If they don't value you, they're not going to value the company. So it's that trickle down effect. You must turn, and like I always say, your employees are your most important, the greatest asset that any employer has. It starts with your people. Your people are the face of your company. If you treat them well, they will follow you anywhere. They will make sure you're taken care of. You don't have to stand over them and watch them. That's why it's always amazing to me when they say, oh, I don't like my employees to work remotely, because if you're a true leader and you hired somebody to do something,
Yes.
they'll tell you whether or not they want to come into the office sometimes, but they should be given that flexibility, because guess what? Sometimes with personal, it will save them money on daycare. It will save them wear and tear on their vehicle. With gas prices right now, they could definitely use that, because they can take that money they instead of coming into the office and use that for groceries. So we need to think, how do we help employees as well? So they have, their well-being is important. You want to make sure they have the tools they need. And we can't always put the business first as though we don't care about employees. The business is very important, but we need to make sure that we're taking care of those relationships. Those are relationships too. Value your employees. POS, where are they at? Do they feel like they're valued? Because that's very important. If they do not feel they're not valued, if they don't feel they're valued, they're not going to stay with you. You can have high performing teams and individuals that are willing to go in and they will maintain that. They are able to carry that department for you. But if you don't value them, you don't recognize them, you actually don't give them credit for what they're doing, they're not going to stay with you either.
That's right.
I mean, we talk about lived experiences. I still have people from 10 years ago that will call me and say, do you have anything available? I'm willing to come work for you. So, and then it's just like, I would love to work with you again. So you know what type of leader you are when that's going on. And that's how everybody really should be. Throughout my career, I've had one person that I couldn't turn around out of all this time. And and I usually give up on no one. And they basically gave up on themselves, because I still try to get them turned around.
Right. Always one.
always one. And then you still feel kind of bad about them, but there's nothing you can do, because you can only help people if they help themselves. And I say that to say that we need to equip them with the tools. We need to make sure they have those tools for success to be able to move forward. And all of that comes in with the trust and listening, again, supporting their growth and communicating with them honestly.
Absolutely.
Favoritism versus fairness. Oh my goodness. We have to make sure that we are not showing favoritism and that we're treating people, fairly and consistently. Because if you don't, that just ends up impacting morale. And it starts building that toxic workplace when you feel like you have, quote unquote, the untouchables.
Exactly.
That can do anything they want to, and they don't follow the rules, but you have to follow them. And I had a client just the other day said that someone did something. He turned around and he wasn't even doing what they said, but they thought he was doing something because he was having a conversation with someone, and they automatically accused him. But when the other gentleman did it to him, upper management didn't address it. But when they thought he did it to the other individual, they addressed him. And he pointed it out to him. He pointed it out to him and said, hey, this isn't right. You didn't address that when it happened to me last week. Why are you addressing it now? So what do you think that does for employees when you're looking at management? You're not being consistent. You're not being consistent. You have to keep those commitments. You have to make sure that you're adhering to your own policies and procedures.
100%. Absolutely. If leaders are not being very conscious of what they're creating externally in the environment, And if they're also not regulating themselves internally, what ends up happening is that's how you hear this word weaponize going on. Oh, this one's weaponizing this and this one's weaponizing that. Well, leaders, when they are not regulated, yes, they weaponize their authority. And when you weaponize your authority, now you're operating in an environment based on fear. And so if a leader can't handle when someone is honestly bringing forth the truth and they punish honesty, or if they can't tolerate being uncomfortable because there is a little bit of disagreement, then the organization is literally set up for failure. And it's really going to be a decline, especially with employee engagement from that point forward. Leaders, we have to make sure that we are examining our own fear, any insecurity. The ego's got to be in check. Now, leaders will say, well, that's not me. That's not me. Oh, I don't need anybody to tell me that. I need to send my other people to let me send somebody else for that class. No, we have to check ourselves internally. Fear, insecurity, ego, the need for control. We've got to be able to call that out in ourselves if it exists. I'm not saying it does, but we have to make sure that we are constantly doing that internal check and actually going deeper. Because when we are asking the deeper question, which is, what kind of environment does my internal architecture create? Because whatever it is that I'm experiencing and I've created internally, that's what the environment is going to be. And I just really, truly believe, Robin, my last few comments here is that presence is not just enough. There has to be trust and dignity. Of course, there has to be structure, but there also has to be emotional maturity within the structure and accountability that happens without destroying other people. Workplaces need all of what we have talked about literally over these last few weeks. And hopefully, leaders are getting something, if it's just one little nugget that helps them foster and create a better environment for their folks to actually thrive on a daily basis.
Right, right. Yes. We have to remember leadership isn't measured by a title.
No.
It's measured by quality of the relationships that you build.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are everything.
Yes.
Employees may forget a meeting, a presentation, or even a policy, but they rarely forget how a leader made them feel.
Bingo.
Never will forget. So leadership is not about having followers.
No.
It's about building those relationships that inspire people to do their best work, bring the best self in, and do a great job for you. And that's what it's all about. You treat them right, that's what they'll do.
Yes.
So what we're going to close today's program, and we want to thank each and every one of you for spending time with us today. We hope today's conversation has provided valuable insights that you can immediately apply within your leadership journey, your team, and your organization.
We want you to remember that leadership is not simply about managing people. It's about inspiring people. It's about creating environments where individuals can thrive, perform at their best, and contribute meaningfully to a shared vision and a shared purpose.
Yes. You can connect with me, Dr. Robin R. Hughes at R. Hughes and Associates at rhughesandassociates.com or LinkedIn. And we transform leadership culture and workplace challenges into strategic business advantages through executive HR leadership, which is powered by industrial organizational psychology. Where can they actually meet with you or get in touch with you, Jacqueline?
Sure. We just want to make sure that we encourage everyone that's listening to take key insight from today's discussion. And don't forget to put into action something that you heard here this week. Small intentional changes often create extraordinary results over time. And you can actually reach me on LinkedIn. You will see where I've got a couple of articles out there, and you will find me. I am Dr. Jacqueline LL Brown, and you'll find me right there on LinkedIn. You can message me, and you can actually schedule, reach out for me and schedule a call for any conversation, because we would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think. We'd love to be able to connect with you. And we appreciate you joining us and being part of this growing community of leaders and change makers and organizational professionals.
Yes. And remember, your leadership has power to transform lives and organizations. Thank you for joining us on Leadership and Organizational Development Live, brought to you by TCS Consulting LLC. Until next time.
Bye-bye.